G'day, mate. Thank you. Much appreciated.
You're more
Well,
than
hi,
welcome.
guys.
Great to start this series with you because it's very much the reason that we're here. Is you.
Yeah, mate. Look, I'm happy to talk about it. I think this is a story used to tell quite a lot in the old days and perhaps not quite so much now. When I was a little bit younger, I was living in New Zealand and I had a business there running indoor cricket and indoor netball arenas. And we were doing pretty well. I had a house and a couple of nice new cars and, things were pretty cool. And when I got married, my wife decided that she wanted to work overseas and travel. And look, I'd never even considered leaving New Zealand. I'd never even thought that, that it was possible.
Could have fooled me.
I was, yeah, mate. I loved it there, and I thought life was good. And I spent some time thinking about it. And I thought, I want to support my wife, but also, I actually need to go and live a different life and see some different things. And I sold the businesses, one before I left and one after I left, and sold the cars and kept the houses and rented them out, and headed off to Denmark. And when I got to Denmark, Denmark's hard if you don't speak Danish, and I found out that the money I got from selling my business, which was, a reasonable amount of money in New Zealand, well, it was bugger all money in Europe, let me
Yeah.
tell you. Spent a hell of a hurry. And I sort of, I'd sort of started just before I left dabbling in trading. And I had a account with CMC Markets. And I had a friend over there, Leon, who's now the head of risk for Nordia Bank, a guy that's coming to Bali this year for the first time. You guys will actually meet Leon for the first time in Bali in October. And he used to tell me that, he couldn't teach me to trade because it was a subconscious skill for him, but he could tell me what to read and we could chat about it and we used to talk about it. And he used to say to me all the time, look, you'll be really good at this. Just do it. And, eventually I put a couple of $1,000 into an account, and I think it's been talked a little bit about. I had a bit of a dream start. I traded the Lehman Brothers crash in the early days, and, I had a pretty good run, to be fair. I made a bit of money, and from then on I was pretty hooked. And because we were traveling, we went, sort of 18 months Denmark, 18 months London, 2.5. I think my wife was 2.5 years in Singapore. I was based there for about 4. We commuted between before I came back to New Zealand. So the trading gave me a chance to make some money and do some things while I was traveling and living a different life.
I'm going to say trading actually afforded you the ability to do that.
Yeah, it really did. It gave us a lot of choice. And, at the end of the day, my wife, it's one of those things in life. It's not a bad thing. My wife has a good career, and her income perhaps gave us some stability, and it allowed me to be quite brave in my trading, and and to trade without too much fear while I was learning. And really, I had a little bit of early success. I was reasonably lucky. I got picked up and went to the trading floor in London. But it was a combination perhaps of a little bit of luck and some hard work. And I think I'd had an interest in trading for 10 years before I started trading. I used to read a bit about it and follow some stuff online without ever actually doing it.
Yeah, look, the luck's the one thing, but there's nothing that would have kept you lucky over a period of time. It's the hard work that's got you where you are now. There's no question there, I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things that, is just the truth of it, Jeff, that, trading's one of those things that at some stage you've just got to do a certain amount of hours in front of charts to understand them. I mean, you're the perfect example, Jeffrey. You just sat in front of charts until they made sense to you. And I remember I sat with you for a lot of those hours for a long time. And, at the end of the day, the slingshot strategy, it's different, and it's low, it's high prob, low reward to risk. It's not fashionable, but boy, it teaches you how to understand a market. It was a great grounding for both of us in those days. Look, I think as my start gave me a really different view on psychology to most people.
Yeah.
So I had the 3 days that I turned the $2,000 account to a $52,000 account in 3 days, and I remember sitting at home alone. I actually asked my best friend who was visiting just to give him a bit of space. I was sitting at home looking at my screen at the end of that session and going, and I traded, an hour or two on the first 2 days and half an hour on the third day to make that money. I remember sitting looking at the screen just going, wow, what's going on here? You don't expect to do that, and your brain's not good at doing things it doesn't expect. And as much as I'm a reasonably calm man and a reasonably rational man, the next couple of months, the result that I made in the first 3 days was really bad news for me. I lost a sense of realism around it.
Yeah.
And really, when I took a break and reflected, I realized that I just got carried away with my success, and that I had to get back to doing sensible things. And I'm really lucky that ability in trading. I take some liberties as a trader, but if things start going badly, I go back to the basics, and I'm really good at just getting back to the basics and backing that'll work for me. Yeah, look, it's interesting, Jeff. I think about the Action Wealth trading team from 2 points of view. I think one of the things I realised in the early days was that when I was on the trading floor in London, we were teaching people to trade, and I realised that no one approach worked for everybody. And that if I actually really wanted to help people learn to trade, and I used to work for an organisation that didn't really care if people learned or not, and I wanted to create an organisation where we genuinely did our best, and part of that was I had to provide stuff for people who weren't the same as me. So I've created a team of traders who trade with us, who trade different things, and I'm really lucky because I don't day by day mentor those people anymore, but I'm involved in all of what they do. Not every day, but from time to time, and I understand the strategies and what they do, and I've seen them all. I've traded with all of them, and what it's done is really given me a really broad range of understanding of things. So I can talk to you about the slingshot. I can talk to Ash about price action. I can talk to Chloe about trend trading. I can talk to Julian about how markets work. And what it means is when I'm looking at markets, I've got a really broad view of them. And I can look at them from one of the things that it can be too much. You can look at markets and see a number of different things at the same time. But I think I'm reasonably good again at working out what I want to trade, and that's changed over time as well. But I think there's a big theme going through Actions to Wealth at the moment. There's always themes going through Actions to Wealth. I'm talking a lot about exiting trades. I'm talking a lot about biases, and it's only really from spending some time with Ray while he was doing what he was doing, when he introduced back into seasonality in COT in his company, that I really got the difference again that I think successful traders, we often subconsciously carry a bias. We hear stuff and it colours us, and we don't really realise we're doing it. And it was only when I sat down with Ray and started to have a look at this stuff that I realised how important it was and what a big difference it can make. And, we're really lucky. We've got some wonderful traders, guys like Orlando, man, that boy can trade. And you get when you see what they do, I'll never be a swing trader like Orlando is, but you do get a chance to see how the market works for him and see how his view of the market can colour your decisions, Yeah, look, I think, the truth is that all the strategies do different things. And again, it's one of the reasons you have multiple people running multiple strategies, because I couldn't update them all for different markets all the time. I remember, maybe 3 years ago, Jeff, we went through a dark patch with a slingshot for maybe a year.
Yep.
It was an awful time. We couldn't make it work. And, eventually, we had some long talks and talked about some stuff, and you went to work and you modified it and you made it work, and you made it better than it was before. And I think that, when we put together the trading team, and the trading team just assembled, really. I didn't put it together. It turned up. But we just got the right people. Not only people who can trade, but people who are committed to, because they trade, trying to keep their stuff modern and trying to keep their stuff improving. We see Lloyd at the moment is working on some new stuff. It's fascinating, the stuff that man works on. Different people in the company are always facing different challenges, and this is just part of trading. That's always going on. There's guys facing challenges. There's guys whose stuff's breaking out and going really well, and we're just in the midst of it trying to support them all.
Yeah, look, this is a statement, not a question. I think the people that you've gathered have one thing very much in common, apart from the fact that they're traders and they're successful traders, is that they really do get the mantra of the company, which is to improve other people's lots in life.
Yeah, look, I think it's an interesting question. As you know, I coached indoor cricket for New Zealand and Singapore, and I coached netball for Denmark, and very minor sports in those countries. But I did perhaps 110, 120 internationals between them all. And look, I think I think that eventually, as you get older, coaching becomes less about you and more about the people you're coaching, and you become better at communicating and understanding what they want. And I think also part of being an international coach is you understand the difference between, look, there are things that athletes want and there are things that traders want that aren't in their best interest. And sometimes as a coach, you've got to be prepared to not give them what they want. And that can be really tough on them and really demanding on you. And but sometimes it's the best answer for them. And I think sometimes you've just got to hold up and you've just got to hold on to what you believe is the best answer for the people and commit to it and hope they come on the journey. Most people do. We've been very lucky that, as I say, people think that I put the Actions to Wealth trading team together as a plan, and it's just not true. It just kind of happened, and we're very lucky. They're the right people, and they're a big part of why I continue to do this. And I know we're all a big part of why we all continue to do this. We're a good bunch of people who enjoy working together and enjoy doing our best to help other people. And I think that's what coaching is all about. Look, I think like everybody, Jeff, you lack perspective on yourself. I think what I'm really good on is that when I'm in doubt, when there's something that just doesn't make sense to me, I pick up the phone and ask Julian, and I don't hesitate to do it.
Yeah.
We've been, we're very lucky to have, professional traders, people like Julian and Justin, who just don't work with other education companies. We're really lucky to have professional traders as part of our group, and to have them as a resource and not use them would be crazy. And Julian's been my mentor for a long time, and I'm not at all shy to ask for help when I feel like I need help from Julian. It doesn't happen a hell of a lot anymore, but if there's something in the market that I don't understand and I'm not quite clear on, I don't hesitate to ask him. One of the great things about Julian, he's the perfect match for me insofar as when I have a question, he has an answer, which is brilliant. As long as I've been involved with Julian, unless there's been a specific plan, something we're doing, I've never spoken to him for more than 10 or 15 minutes. And I make a point of, I don't ring him every day or every week or every month, and I never have. And you've got to be really careful as well to be respectful of the mentor. I think a lot about ANZ and the 120,000 US dollars she made in December, and that, while she was doing that, there were people trying to push into her time. And, their needs may be important to them, but we need her to have the freedom to trade and make that trade so she can teach you that stuff. And there has to be a line between having a mentor available to you and helping you, and respecting their boundaries and allowing them to continue to get better and have the time to focus on what they need to focus on. The first thing you need to do as a mentor is focus on you doing the job. It's only one word. I'll talk a bit about the word. Focus. Look, the number one problem we have for traders is that there's so much distraction. It only takes one negative person to get in the head of a trader, and that trader's in trouble.
Yeah.
And if you let negative people distract you away from what you're doing, we have people who work really hard and they do really well and have a lot of success. And it takes one guy to have a bad week and start bitching about it. And inside the community, they can cause immense damage. And I think there's another thing. This is part of the coaching thing, Jeff. When you run organizations and they get bigger, there's always going to be negative people turning up in your organization. We've been really lucky. We've had some wonderful people in the organization. But you've just got to be able to trust your people to make good decisions. And to be able to separate out, sometimes you have people in your organization who perhaps have been planted by other organizations, people with some pretty disappointing agendas. And you've just got to back. There's always one or two people that just jump on the bandwagon and go, oh yeah, da-da-da-da. But you've just got to stay out of that stuff and stay away from the negative stuff and focus on what your job is. And if you just take all of that stuff and put it to one side, and instead of listening to that, you just focus on becoming a better trader every day, you'll get there. It's the distractions that kill us. Just focus on what we're supposed to be doing. In my experience, there's a huge amount of distraction in today's world, and really, if you can focus on what's important to you and just work hard at it, my experience is that eventually some success comes your way.
Is that, in a way, another way of saying, plan the trade and trade the plan? Because that almost gets forgotten, doesn't it? Because as you said earlier, there's so much information and there's so many ways that you develop as a trader, and almost you have to go through the way that you are going to process the new information, and the transition between planning the trade and trading the plan in one way might be different in a year's time. But is it almost another way of saying that, make sure that if you are introducing something new, that it becomes part of a really concrete plan?
Yeah, look, Ash, I think you only ever introduce something to your plan when the market's closed, and you can go back and back test it without the emotions of the market being open.
Yeah.
And I think you do. I think that's trading psychology 101.
Yeah.
Have a plan, follow the plan, psychology good.
Yeah.
Have a plan, leave the plan, psychology bad. And it's as simple as that. And
what about don't have a plan, don't follow the plan?
Well, don't have a plan, don't follow the plan, give your money to me.
I just wanted to add the other one that you hadn't mentioned.
At the end of the day, those guys, they can have a good week or a good month, but they're going to get destroyed. And this is as you guys know, we've got half a dozen guys who trade a licensed fund with us that have come through our program. We're trying to create professional traders and traders of a standard, and that's different to what others are doing somewhere in the world, where they're just trying to milk a bit of money out of it. It's a very different thing. Yeah, it's a good question, Jeff. Look, in Singapore, I was in Singapore when it went from yellow to orange on the warning scale, and to be honest, the reaction in Singapore really was quite noticeable. And look, Singaporeans are rational people, and there's no panic, but their lives are being impacted. And in truth, on Monday last week, I went to 2 meetings in Singapore, and getting into those meetings was appreciably more difficult than it was getting into New Zealand on Tuesday.
Really?
Oh yeah, I had to fill in declarations saying this and that. I had to have my temperature taken, have a sticker put on with my temperature on it. And they didn't single me out, Ash. I don't live on the same street as someone with coronavirus like you do.
It's not the same street, mate. She lives next door to me.
Next door, you need to go on holiday, bro. You need to go far away.
You need to go out.
Totally the safest place you could be. But look, I think one of the things that we're seeing is what I saw was that Singaporeans' lives right now are not a lot of fun. People are going home. They're staying indoors. People are working from home. And the meetings I saw, literally one of the meetings I saw while I was there, people in that company were being made redundant. Because the company was concerned that they just couldn't afford to employ them long term. And it's I think there's perhaps a little more pain. It's not. We're very fortunate. None of our people have got coronavirus that we're aware of. We don't expect anyone to. We don't expect to have any fatalities. But the quality of life of a lot of our people is really under pressure. And we plan on coming pretty big. We'll be making announcements from tomorrow about what we'll do in the next 6 weeks to roll out free additional education at all levels, from complete beginner stuff for our IFP clients through to the senior mentorship students. We'll be rolling out additional stuff for free for all of them. We'll be making it, there'll be no sales involved. None of the programs that we roll out will have a sell involved. They'll just be simply extra education and extra content for people who have got time at home and have got time to look stuff up and have got time to do some research and have got time to trade. We're going to try and take one of the traders said to us today. He's working from home in Asia. That you never really realise how small your house is until you've got to spend a week living in it. And we'd really like to create some distraction for people who, and he's not quarantined. He's just working from home and doesn't want to go out. And I think there's a fair bit of that at the moment, and that Singaporeans aren't the complaining type. But I don't think life's as good for them as it has been from an enjoyment point of view. And we're going to try and provide some content for them, and then we'll roll it out starting tomorrow. But there's going to be more support for every level. There's going to be every program that we've run in the mentorship. We're going to have a follow-up session to that where the senior traders are going to come on and talk about, for people who have attended them, they're going to give them some extra content. They're going to make sure they're doing okay. We're going to try and help them out. We're going to run a couple of extra programs where we're going to offer them free to the mentorship. We're going to discount them to the non-mentorship. We're going to run out a comprehensive program in the next 6 weeks or so to see if we can give Singaporeans and people in Hong Kong, Taiwan, Thailand, just some distraction from this. And I don't mean to trivialise it because it's a bit of a disease, and what's going on in the world at the moment is pretty sad. Good day today, just quietly. Almost no infection outside of China today so far, and what I can see. And maybe it'll be over in a week, and if it is, we're just going to keep rolling it out. But we are going to roll out some stuff in the next week for those people that are spending more time at home, and for those people who need a distraction in life right now. We're going to try and give you a hell of a lot of content, a huge amount of extra stuff. In the next 6-7 weeks, we will run out. As we've done it a couple of times before in the past, when we thought that things for some of our people weren't going particularly well, we provided a lot of assistance to different groups, and we're going to try and run out some stuff here to really help those that want to be helped, and we're going to see if we can do some pretty special stuff for them.
Mate, that sounds fantastic. I'm sure Ash and I will be absolutely 100% behind that,
undoubtedly,
and look forward to doing what we can.
Look, as new traders, how do we go through bad week? Look. One of the things I'd really encourage you to understand is, as a trader in your life, you're going to have a bad hour. At some stage, you'll have a bad day. At some stage, you'll have a bad week. At some stage, you'll have a bad month. Julian has been profitable for 27 of the last 28 years, which means he had a bad year. And part of being a trader is just accepting the fact that nothing works in all markets. Every strategy has good times and bad times. Every trader has good times and bad times. Leon, the guy who's now head of risk for an audio bank, took a year out from trading after his divorce. Traded for the first month and just couldn't do it, and had a break. And look, sometimes when it's going badly, I don't think you guys need breaks unless there's that kind of stuff going on. But you just need to hold on to your vision. You know, I was reading some stuff on Ross Taylor got some advice, a New Zealand cricketer from one of the great coaches in world cricket. He just said, look, set yourself bigger goals, keep working. And my encouragement for you is, you know, hold on to your vision, hold on to what you want. You know, create a plan. Understand how you're not going to get there by luck. Create a plan. What are you going to do? What are the things that are going to help you? One of the truths for new traders, they've often got to trial a number of different things to find the one that's working for them. And when you find the one that works for you, pretty much people tend to know pretty quickly. Jeff, you knew the slingshot was your strategy pretty early, didn't you? Not early. That's not true. Pretty clearly when you found it.
Yeah, when I found it, absolutely. Yeah, it was clear because it suits me. It suits my lifestyle, suits my way of thinking, suits my risk profile. So yeah, it was me.
When you found your thing, you knew you'd found your thing.
Yeah, undoubtedly. Yeah. It was like the clouds had cleared, and I think it's a really good point that everybody is different, and everybody does have a different personality type. So, somebody described it to me that the market is very similar to music in as much that you will like a different style of music than I will like, and Jeff will like a different style of music than the two of us will like, and the market's like that. You know, we do kind of draw towards a different way of appreciating how it works and enjoying how it works, actually. So
I like that, enjoying how it works. Look, every trader goes through bad times, and look, it's one of the things, again, you know, don't get distracted. There's so many, you know, there's always someone prepared to be negative and say something bad about something, but just keep working. That's what we did. And, you know, we didn't have the sort of support and, you know, traders around us when we were learning that you have around you.
Certainly did not.
So, you know, my advice to you is to stay positive, stay focused, have a plan, and, you know, every month or two, do a little review and see whether you think you're trading the thing that's right for you. And maybe for you, it'll be scalping, maybe it'll be swing trading, maybe it'll be trend trading, maybe it'll be something like the slingshot, you know, maybe something like price action, maybe it'll be something that's ultra long term. Only you, and perhaps with some help, you can find this more quickly, but only you can find that stuff out, and that's why trading is unique. And if you're having a bad week, let it just understand. I just don't know of anything you can do in the world where you're not going to have a bad week. I reckon even as a rock star, I mean, Elton John had a bad week. He broke down on stage in Auckland on Sunday night. You know,
That's
not
right,
a great night for the man. Left the stage in tears.
Yeah.
And there's an absolute genius at work.
Yeah.
One of the 4 or 5 times that I've actually been at an Elton John concert, he actually passed out on stage. So
you know, these are parts of life, and if your expectation is to become a forex trader and everything becomes magically better, then maybe you need to stop reading fairy tales and get on with life and understand there's going to be good times and bad times, and having good people around you and support. The good times far outweigh the bad times. You'll get there if you keep going. Don't get distracted and don't get discouraged. Thanks for the interview, guys. I do have people waiting for me, and look, I appreciate everybody who stayed and listened, and I hope that the session's been of some use to you. And Ash and Jeff, thank you very much for inviting me.
Oh, thank you for coming, mate.
Thanks for coming on board. Really enjoyed that. That was good fun.